Hey everyone, it's been a long time, but we're here for the latest Math for the Impatient. I've got Stan Kladko, our CTO. Sorry, we were on a little bit of hiatus. We've had a couple of things happening if you've been paying attention to international news. That said, we are still heading full steam ahead. We're super excited. And so we're going to do our latest. And today we're going to talk about full sync nodes. So what is a full sync node and why do people need it, Stan?
Yeah, that's a great question. So basically, many people asked us, many dApps, many projects asked us to keep a separate archive copy of their chain. So we have a blockchain that runs on Scale network. As you, Marcus, and our viewers know, we have many blockchains. And each blockchain is owned by a particular project, by a particular dApp, by a particular community. So people that run a particular chain, they, in addition to the nodes that are provided by Scale, they also want to add their own archive nodes or something that we call full sync. Those nodes are providing a live copy of the chain. So if you have a chain running on Scale network, you can basically on your laptop or on your desktop or on your server run software which will be constantly making a copy of this chain, and it will be running inside of your computational environment. So you could use it in many ways. You could do lots of computations, but also in particular, you also keep an archive in the case of WW3. If everything goes wrong and your chain is dead, you will have this last resort, the copy to actually resurrect your chain.
Very cool. So I think the next question that we have is, how will a full sync node operate? Like, what's the mechanism for how it operates?
Oh, that's a great question, Marcus. So first of all, I would like to provide yet another introduction into how Scale chains work. As we discussed in our previous installments, each Scale chain is composed of nodes. And those nodes, each of them actually participates in consensus and keeps a replica, an entire replica of the entire chain. So think of those nodes as replicas, but they also do consensus. So they actually have two functions. One function is that each node provides a copy of blockchain, and you can actually connect to any of them to find out how much money you have, or just ask about a particular transaction in the past. So this is the function of providing a replica, a copy of the entire blockchain, and each Scale node that participates in a particular chain provides this replica functionality. Another important functionality, number two, is participating in consensus. Consensus means that every node has the right and the responsibility to propose new blocks, and then nodes vote and in a mathematically provable way select which block is going to be added to the end of the chain. So at some point, a block proposal from a particular node becomes the actual block. And then each of them adds this block to the end of the chain. So all nodes keep in sync and keep being exact replicas. So two functions. One of them is consensus, and the second function is being a replica and providing information about previous history, about the current state, how much money you have, all things like that. So an archive node only have a half. A full sync node only has a half of this functionality. It doesn't participate in consensus. It doesn't really do any block proposal, doesn't vote. So it doesn't have actually much rights on the network, but it actually does participate in the second function of being a replica. The way it does it, it keeps on downloading blocks from the full nodes and keeps on syncing with the chain. So it's actually pretty much doesn't have much rights on the chain. It doesn't really have any security importance because there's no rights it doesn't participate in consensus. But every block the chain creates, it just downloads this block and creates, again, the same replica as real node. So it's kind of half of the real node. So then what you'll be able to do, you have your chain, you'll be able to have your laptop, run this particular software on your laptop, and magically the scale chain that you own or you're interested in will be constantly synced with this software on your laptop will be constantly synced with the chain. So you will actually never need to go to the network to find out particular information like how much money you have or this or that. You'll just connect to the replica, to the copy that you run on your laptop. And that's how it's going to work. And this also means that, let's say you want to do some really hard computational tasks on your chain. For instance, you want to do some statistics, you want to do some analysis, maybe you even want to do some machine learning or AI, something that would really require lots of computational capacity, and you may not have this computational capacity on the node that is run on the Scale network. What you could do then, you can actually do this replica, this full sync node, and this full sync node can be super computationally powerful. So you could actually select a very expensive machine that has lots of CPUs, lots of computational power, and then you could run all kinds of algorithms on your data, including machine learning. So that's pretty much how is it going to work. The idea is very simple. The idea is just really a replica that doesn't actually have much rights on a particular chain, but then the only thing it does is just live keeps on downloading blocks and processing them as if it were a real thing.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, I guess the final question really is, what are the applications, or what types of applications will a full sync node enable? What kinds of things will it allow you to do?
That's a great question, Marcus, and it's actually one of those things is that, you know, when people do startups, they always the advice is that you release things early. You know, even if the thing is not perfect, you release it because you need to find out what people want. And I think with this full sync node, we really didn't expect how many people asked for it. So we released our Scale version 1. And there are several features that people starting to request, in particular multi-sig, some other things, but also the Oracle, but also this full sync. So many projects are actually asking us to create this full sync node to the extent that they say, please do it, it's a critical feature. And the reason why they need it, there are several different possibilities. Some of them have just from the security perspective, they just want to keep a copy of their chain in case something goes terribly wrong. It does provide a huge advantage from the security perspective, because let's say, you know, your chain is hacked, and in the worst case, you know, your chain is hacked, information is destroyed, you will have this reserve copy. And this particular node, the full replica, the full sync node, it may actually run in a very secure environment. It may be run on a very secure network. So it may be actually well protected. So if you have a DApp or a project that is really important and has many users, running this full replica node actually provides you additional assurance that even if something goes terribly wrong, every single node on your blockchain dies, you will be able to resurrect. So that's a huge thing. Another thing, which is also very important, is that people like to do lots of mathematical calculations, statistics, visualizations, block explorers, all kind of things on their data, on their blockchain. And there is a very popular package called Graph, and we've been partners with Graph already for a long time. So there's this Graph software, which is basically, you can view it if you want. You can view it like Google search for blockchain. So you have your blockchain, you have your data, transactions, pam, but you don't have a search engine for it, right? As a human, it's very hard for you to actually dig into what's going on. So there has to be something like a search engine. And essentially the graph, they actually take this niche, this software, which actually kind of indexes the entire data and then provides you the search capability. The problem is that when you index data, Google search engine needs lots of computational capacity, the same way the graph also needs lots of computational capacity. So the best way to run graph is to run it on a super powerful computer, and also have low latency. If they directly connect to our node, which is far, far away geographically, or like far, far away on this planet, and if they do this indexing from far away, it's actually not going to be super computationally effective, right? It's much better for them to actually create this full replica somewhere in their computational environment, and then this graph software, or in other words, this Google Flow blockchain, connects locally to a powerful server, to the replica, and all of the indexing and searches are not going to go actually to Scale network. We won't even see this. They will all happen on a replica. So, but because of those two reasons, I think people are really asking for replica nodes. Security, number one. And number two, being able to run lots of computational algorithms which requires lots of computational capacity. I would say, I probably, if you are also a trader, if you are in DeFi, decentralized finance, if you do trading, as you know, like for trading, you always have one algorithm trying to find another algorithm. It's like a war of algorithms, right? So you always want to find a perfect algorithm, but other people also designing algorithms. So for trading, it is incredibly important to be able to run high computational resource, very strong computational resources on your data, right? And I probably kind of suspect that people that will trade, they will also want this replicas. That's another reason. So we're really excited about this thing, and also it's almost done. This software, it does not really run on Scale network, so it's not part of release v2 because it's not a Scale node. It's a separate piece that you run on your laptop, but we are planning to release it really soon as a separate software package. The current plan is 3 to 4 weeks from now. And once this is done, you'll be able to take your laptop and run the software. The software will download a copy, a total replica of a particular Scale chain, and then it will keep on syncing, and then it will be able to do all kinds of fun things with it. We are really excited about this.
That sounds super cool. All right, well, Stan, thanks a bunch. Appreciate taking the time and telling us more about full sync nodes. We can go below, you'll see our Twitter, join us on Telegram, all the usual places, and see you soon. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Marcus.